You remember the last time I made a video on Kyler Murray, I said this case is closed for now? Well, for now is over because we have more on this bizarre situation, and I have never seen something like this in my entire life. I honestly don't understand why anyone would do what he is currently doing. We're gonna break it down all for you. Before we get to the content, I want to let you guys know we're giving away $500 to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. I want to give a huge shout out to our latest winner, Brian Madrid. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter so you could claim $500. Thank you for subscribing and turning on my notifications. We're doing the exact same giveaway on my Instagram page. If you're a follower on my Instagram, then you've also entered for a chance to win $500. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, honestly, I thought that the whole Kyler Murray situation from the very beginning made no sense whatsoever. I mean, I think I'm just a little desensitized to teams having remarkable regular seasons, making it all the way to the playoffs. And of course, sometimes when you get to the playoffs, or a lot of times when you get to the playoffs, things just don't go your way. And in Kyler Murray's situation, it seems like he had a full-on meltdown in his game against the Los Angeles Rams in the wild card round, which could be very frustrating. Honestly, I had a feeling this was going to happen to him because going up against Von Miller and Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd with the offensive line that Kyler Murray has, and then hoping to chuck the ball up in the air to DeAndre Hopkins, who wasn't available for that game, and then of course having to throw it into a field where Jalen Ramsey's potentially there might be very challenging. So I do empathize with Kyler Murray for the fact that, yeah, he may have been scapegoated for his horrific performance against the eventual Super Bowl champions. I don't necessarily think this is a legacy ruining game for him because, again, the Arizona Cardinals were an absolute joke of a franchise before Kyler Murray came along. And each and every season, Kyler seems to have improved. I mean, in his rookie season, he threw 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He got sacked 48 times. His sophomore year, he threw 26 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, almost the 4,000-yard passing mark, and got sacked considerably less. And then this past year, threw for a 69% completion percentage and over 3,700 yards with 24 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. And that's before we get to his ability as a rushing QB. I mean, honestly, his statistics speak for himself, and you really don't need to be a genius to know that this is definitely one of the, I wouldn't say top 5 best QBs in the NFL, but I would say he's in my top 8 or top 7 best QBs in the NFL. And you guys could debate this with me if you want. I've been a little bit more open about who my top quarterbacks currently are, and it's a subjective list, so we don't need to get into it. But what happened at the end of the season was what was really weird, and I don't think I've typically seen something like this before, mainly because from my perspective, I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Kyler Murray was going to be brought back. The Cardinals were going to do whatever it takes to improve the team around him. Yes, currently they are $813,000 below the cap, but that's nothing that would cause the Arizona Cardinals to make tremendous changes to their team that could ultimately make their team look really bad next year. I love this team's wide receiver core. I love their stable of running backs. Maybe James Conner is going to look for a big payday, but apart from that, I don't really see this team changing that much. Apart from maybe you finally could get Kyler Murray, an offensive lineman in the NFL draft, but that's besides the point. What's interesting is what happened in the offseason was in the very beginning, there was apparently a very tense meeting between the Arizona Cardinals owner Michael Bidwill, Steve Keim, and Cliff Kingsbury. Ian Rappaport came out and said that this meeting never happened, which, okay, if Ian says something never happened, then I'm going to take his word for it. But then Chris Mortensen, on the day of the Super Bowl, put out this tweet where it just seems like he absolutely ethered Kyler Murray. I mean, according to this report, Murray is described as self-centered, immature, and a finger pointer. He is frustrated with the franchise and was embarrassed by the playoff loss to the Rams and thinks that he has been framed as the scapegoat. The Cardinals expect things to calm down, and Kyler Murray is their QB. Select veterans hope to reach Murray on how he can handle adversity better, and Coach Cliff Kingsbury also is self-scouting where he can provide better alternatives for Kyler Murray. Ultimately, after this, we got a report where the Cardinals said that nothing about this is true, nothing has changed regarding our opinion and high regard for Kyler Murray, despite him scrubbing all mentions on his social media account of everything that had to do with the Cardinals on his Instagram page. Now, Kyler eventually would put this to bed with a post on his Instagram reaffirming his commitment to the franchise, saying that I play this game for the love of it, my teammates, and everyone who has helped me get into this position that believed in me and to win championships. All of this nonsense is not what I'm about, never has been, never will be. Anyone who has ever stepped between those lines with me knows how hard I go. Love or hate me, but I'm going to continue to grow and get better. And this is where we currently are right now. It's been over a week since this post came out, and today, well, we got a pretty interesting essay from Kyler Murray's agent, Eric Burkhart, saying, Kyler Murray wants to be direct with the loyal Arizona Cardinal fans and the great community of the Valley in stating his two very important goals and objectives. One, he absolutely wants to be your long-term QB. Two, he desperately wants to win the Super Bowl. Achieving both goals will take incredible commitment from himself and the entire organization. Despite all of Kyler's energy being focused on the future, he is very proud of the franchise's extreme turnaround in competitiveness and success since his arrival. Alongside his teammates and coaches, a successful and valuable foundation for the organization has been built. The team and Kyler's individual 3-year track record of undisputed and increasingly positive results while under the extremely challenging circumstances of walking into a 3-win team with the last ranked offense in the toughest division in football, speaks for itself. The Cardinals are the only franchise in the NFL to have improved by 3 or more wins in each of the last 3 seasons, and Kyler was tasked with stepping into a tough situation and named the starter on day 1 of his arrival. He has delivered and exceeded all reasonable expectations along the way, and winning NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, followed by back-to-back Pro Bowls in the ultra-competitive and QB-loaded NFC. Looking ahead, Kyler believes that in order to consistently compete for championships and ultimately deliver the Valley their first Super Bowl in 33+ years, there needs to be long-term stability for both the organization and himself. So to overtly communicate Kyler's desire to be Cardinals' long-term QB, we sent a detailed contract proposal to the organization. It was important to Kyler that his proposal reflected all of the following. 1, it provides financial protection. 2, is in line with the current QB market that compares his results alongside relevant comps. 3, lowers his 2022 to 2023 salary cap number to allow the Cardinals to re-sign other deserving teammates and add additional free agents, and most importantly, represents a real commitment from the organization to see if their ultimate goals align with his 2 above, consistently competing for championships and Kyler being their QB. In bold, actions speak much louder than words in this volatile business. It is now simply up to the Cardinals to decide if they prioritize their rapidly improving 24-year-old, already 2-time Pro Bowl QB, who led the organization from 3 wins before his arrival to 11 wins and their first playoff appearance in 5 years, or rather if they choose to financially prioritize committing to other areas and continuing to merely talk about addressing Kyler's long-term future as their QB. Unfortunately, every player, coach, and executive in the NFL knows or should know that words and hypothetical contractual promises are regularly dismissed and fleeting in this business. Kyler remains hopeful that the organization chooses to commit so that he can continue leading the Cardinals to further success and value for many years to come. So there's 2 years left on Kyler Murray's contract, and this is what's really interesting to me. There's so much about this essay that I have a problem with, which props to us. If you made it to the end of this essay, give yourself a pat on the back in the comment section down below. When I first saw this tweet on my phone getting out of bed, I thought I needed glasses or something because I did not want to read this. So props to us for getting through this, and let's address this, man, because there's so much here that I want to just discuss. The first thing is, actions speak much louder than words in this volatile business. That is not the word selection you want when your quarterback literally unfollowed the Arizona Cardinals on social media and scrubbed his entire social media of all the pictures that pertain to the Arizona Cardinals. But even furthermore, I think this is by far one of the most unnecessary pieces of content I have ever consumed. He is the #1 overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. It is a foregone conclusion that the Cardinals are going to sign him to a contract extension. What's with the urgency? This, if anything, would make me feel very skeptical about Kyler Murray, because is there something that he's concerned about in regards to potentially getting injured down the line? Is he anticipating a drop-off in his production? Is he looking at the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield and saying, oh man, look at what happened to Baker Mayfield this past year? After one really good season the year before this past year, Baker Mayfield happened to regress, and now you're getting reports that the Cleveland Browns are monitoring Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and any other QB replacement for Baker Mayfield. So could Kyler Murray be looking at Baker, the man that won the Heisman on the same college as he did and got drafted #1 overall the year prior? Could he be looking at that situation and comparing himself to Baker because they're both undersized QBs? And could that be causing concern for Kyler Murray, saying, okay, we need to get a deal done ASAP? Because if you look, typically quarterbacks in his position would get the contract that they are seeking. And it's interesting to note because Adam Schefter tweeted this out next, saying that here are quarterbacks that are picked in round 1 to sign a long-term deal before their 4th NFL season the past decade: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, and Ryan Tannehill. So if you're the Arizona Cardinals, I guess you could be concerned about Kyler Murray turning into the next Goff, Wentz, or Tannehill, but I don't necessarily see that in the way he's playing. The moment Kyler Murray stepped onto the football field, the man has been making some absolutely remarkable throws. I just don't understand this paragraph because, one, it does make him look like he's immature, because you don't need to do this. This is completely unnecessary. You're going to get paid eventually. In addition to this, it makes him seem a little bit self-centered in my opinion. I just don't think this piece of content is necessary at all. You are going to get paid. When Patrick Mahomes won the MVP in his first year, then won a Super Bowl in his second year, you didn't see his agent put out this entire essay calling out Brett Veach and Andy Reid for not giving Patrick Mahomes the best contract a quarterback should have ever received. The Kansas City Chiefs knew that they needed to make Mahomes the top paid quarterback in NFL history because he played as such. And I feel like the Arizona Cardinals probably already knew that as well, but I also don't like the fact that they made it seem like Kyler Murray was the sole reason for the Arizona Cardinals progressing as a team. I mean, there's more to this team than just Kyler Murray. Chandler Jones is a great pass rusher. JJ Watt was a great addition. Budda Baker's a beast. Isaiah Simmons was a great draft pick. DeAndre Hopkins was the steal of the past decade. So it doesn't really look like the best look for Kyler. I don't really think this was necessary at all, but we'll monitor this situation, man. I'm expecting him to get a contract extension eventually. I just don't like the way he's going about it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the situation, man. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.